Good morning, everyone. Welcome, or I guess I'm saying good morning because it's good morning here. Good evening, hello, good afternoon. Thank you for coming and joining this session where we're just going to have a very frank discussion about food at Colgate. And so bring your questions. Feel free to use the chat function or I would say the Q&A function, and I'll keep an eye on that. But I'll let Yang and Depesh introduce themselves and we'll go ahead and dive right in. We know that so often that there is so much uncertainty around just coming to campus when you haven't visited the campus before and navigating what academics are like at each school. But we also know that food is a really important part of the actual campus experience. And so that's why we thought we'd have this fun discussion so you can get your questions answered. But if you have serious questions, please bring those as well. My name's Corianne Deatley. I'm our international coordinator. And you know what, Yang, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Yan and I'm not a rising sophomore anymore. I'm a sophomore. I'm from Wenzhou, China, and I'm thinking to double major in education and music. On campus, I'm involved in Colgate Christian Fellowship, Symphonic Band, and the Organization of Asian Sisters in Solidarity.
Hi everybody, my name is Depesh. I am from Kathmandu, Nepal. I am a junior. I am majoring in economics and hopefully minoring in applied math. At Colgate, I'm involved with the Budget Allocation Committee, with whom I allocate budgets, as the name mentions. Apart from that, I'm also a community leader for the residential life. I am a treasurer of a South Asian Cultural Club. I also tutor for the economics department and do some work for the ITS. And I also have a podcast, so if you guys would want to check it out, then you can go to the WRCU radio.
Excellent. Both of you guys are busy. I guess thinking about just all the different things that we could start by talking about, let's start by having both of you think back to your first year at Colgate. Yang, you said you're a sophomore, Depesh, you're a junior. And so coming to Colgate, most students, when they come to Colgate, they really tend to vacillate between Frank Dining Hall, the Coop, because they're all living at the top of the hill. How would you even describe just the meal plan at Colgate in the first year? And I guess, yeah, you know what? Why don't we start with that? Describe the meal plan in the first year.
I can go ahead. So, since I'm a bit older, I think, so all of us had a Premier Gold meal plan for our first year. What that means is we had unlimited access to the Frank Dining Hall, which on regular times, not during the pandemic time, on regular times open 24 hours. I think right now it's functioning from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. in the evening, which is quite different and which is certainly something I'm not used to. And the Coop, I think, opens up from like 8 a.m. On a regular time to 10 p.m. So yeah, those used to be the two main dining options. There are other dining options too, but those two used to be the main. My first time coming to Colgate, I did not know what the different dining options were, and I was very not used to the food because everything was so different. And I think it took some time to figure out what I liked. And good thing is that there were plenty of options. So there was the omelet section where you could get omelet anytime in the day. And there was pizza section and also place for making your own sandwiches. And there was a stir fry section where they made stir fry every day. So I think having a lot of options, at least in the Frank Dining Hall, was useful as an international student who is getting used to a new food culture. And in Coop, I think they usually had a specific menu, and they worked on that well. So for that reason, I personally thought the food quality in Coop was a little better than the food quality in Frank. but yeah, like those were the main destinations we used to like go at any time of the day. So I think like something that was really looked upon was the late dining at Frank, where we used to have like specialties like Colgate burgers and uh, French toast in the evening, and that place used to be booming with people, even like 12 a.m. in the morning, because I think like a lot of students would be returning from the library and trying to get some food before they go to sleep. Uh, I think that kind of sums up my first year dining experience.
I have found that the fact that Frank is usually open 24/7 just makes a huge difference in students' lives, and that by being unlimited, you can literally go in anytime that you want. We've gotten our first question, and because I think it's again a Frank-oriented question. How's the ice cream situation like at Colgate? Who wants to take that one?
I can take that one.
Go for it.
So Frank has used to have a self-serving ice cream station. So we normally will have 4 tubs of ice cream from Brian Dairy and the soft ice cream machine. So you can have like vanilla, chocolate, or twist. So every time you go into Frank, you can stay there for as long as you want, and you can have as many food as you want, which means you can have as many ice cream as you want. And because you have unlimited meal plans, so you literally can go in any day, like any time, to get ice cream, to get anything. And we got our ice cream from Brian Dairy, which is a local, I think it's a local New York like farm.
Mm-hmm.
So like the ice cream there is pretty good. And normally like if you want it, you have to pay like $3 for a scoop at the Brian Dairy shop, but at Frank you get it for free. So my favorite is after like studying at library till like 12 o'clock, then I'll go to Frank to grab an ice cream and I go back to sleep.
What are the vegetarian options like? Are they any good?
I would not know. I don't know.
Depends on what you get. Feel like a lot of time they just substitute tofu for like whatever meat or beans. And Frank probably will have more variety in a sense for vegetarian food, but for Coop you can just get like cheese pizza. Sometimes they have vegetarian pizza, and you can get salad. And for the main line, they normally will have 2 options: one with the meat, one with the tofu. But
there is actually are there 2 whole stations? I believe there are 2 whole stations at Frank that are purely vegetarian as well. And so you can, and when we say stations, we mean that not just salads that you can make and put together on your own, but there are vegetarian options. As Yang said, there are often tofu options, but I know that there are other options that also don't have it as well. But so if you, you'll just know where to go each day in Frank too, if that's something that's a part of your diet. Are there any weekend specials?
Yeah, at Frank they have a weekly brunch every Sunday. Yeah, they used to have like steak and a lot of the food that I don't know how to name. They did have sausages. They also had stir fries, French toast, and that was quite different. The menu was quite different, and at the same time, like the way they organized the kitchen was very elaborate than any other day. So they do have weekend specials at Frank, and for weekend specials, I think people generally go to Donovan's Pub because it's open during the weekends, late at night from 5 to 12. That used to be the usual hours, and you could get like some specialty burgers. We had this something known as the Ed Burger. So there's this called Ed.
An egg burger?
Ed.
Yeah, Ed
Okay.
burger.
Ed Burger.
But it does have an egg.
It does come with the egg. Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good.
So this is just mind-boggling to me because since I've been at Colgate for the past 10 years, Donovan's Pub, people keep talking about it and I haven't been able to go this year. And so is that's the thing to be ordering when you go? Is there anything else at Donovan's Pub that is, because
Chicken
people
wings.
Chicken wings? Okay,
Yeah.
because people
Chicken
do
wings
keep
really good.
to say that compared to the Coop and Frank, that Donovan's really is the place to go for, I mean, as you said, that's where you get weekend special kinds of things. Donovan's is a little bit further down the hill. So when students are, but it's near the library. So that also doesn't surprise me that a lot of students end up going there.
But to be fair, like, I think it also provides like a larger social space, because it has like a pool table, and there are like other board games as well, like darts and things like that. So, and it has like, it is pretty spacious, and usually people tend to go in a group. So over the weekends, like when you're trying to like hang out with your friends and have some food that is quite different from you're used to over the week, I think like Donovan's pub is the place to go. Yeah, so I actually see like a lot of people in Donovan's pub over the weekend, and it's busy. It's a really booming place.
That's so interesting to me, because I always felt like the Coop was the place to go when it was late and you were wanting to get greasy, not as healthy food. And
Coop closes at 8.
The Coop closes at 8, right? Okay,
Yes.
That makes sense how that's different now. I hear people, Yang, the other day, I feel like you mentioned that you've sometimes gotten Coop sushi for breakfast. Is that something that
During my freshman year, yeah.
During your freshman year, that was something that you did. What is it about the Coop that students should know? What are the things to order? What are the things that they need to prioritize to get?
Well, I got sushi from Coop because it's the closest dining option to my freshman dorm. Like, it's right outside of Gay House. Yeah, and I'm not a morning person, so I tend to wake up right before class, and then I'll just grab something really fast from Coop, then go to class. Or like sometimes, like after calc, my friends and I will go to Coop to have sushi. And because you can have unlimited swipes at Coop, so you can get unlimited sushi in a sense. And their chef special is pretty good, actually. And you have to be there early to get it. Otherwise, there's only a vegetarian or like California left. Or also, you don't want to pay for like $8 for like chef special that you can get it for free. So you have to be there early. So that's my freshman year. We were just like going for the sushi. Then we'll also get smoothie from Coop. That was also a really popular option at Coop. So if you have premium meal plan, you also get unlimited smoothie. So you can choose your base, you can choose your fruits and veggies, you can add like banana, yogurt, and you can also add like protein powder. And it just, because it's all included in your meal plan, and it's right on campus, like it's really close to the academic building, and that's also where you get your meals. So a lot of people will like, it's really like crowded.
Can I add to that? I think
Go
like
for it.
you mentioned California roll. So there are different types of sushi. Like there's the California roll, there's the vegetable roll, there is the chef special, and some of them come under the premium gold meal plan, and some of them you have to buy it out of flex dollars or with your own money. So I think like that is something that I wanted to clarify. But there are a number of options that you can get under your meal plan, but you have to get on the spot on time because everybody's trying to get that sushi.
It's gone after 10:30.
After 10, oh, so that's why you don't get it for breakfast.
That's the limit.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand, is why that was the primary breakfast food. Okay. Now, when you guys want pizza, do you go to the Coop or do you go to Frank, or does Donovan's Pub also have decent pizza?
I go to the Coop.
Okay, the Coop. What are your feelings about pizza at Colgate and pizza at the Coop?
I only like, how do you say it? I like pizza, but I only like to make my own pizza at Coop at night. So during my freshman year, so last year, we used to have those like buffet station. You can tell the worker like what you want on your toppings, what sauce you want. Like you can add as many as you want. And I like to customize it to my own like taste, because I'm not really a big fan of cheese and pepperoni. So I like pesto and like bacon, salami, and like other stuff. So that was really good. And they have a pizza oven, so it's literally baked not in the machine, but in the pizza oven. It just tastes better somehow.
Okay.
So I want to add on that. One thing I would say is that like I'm not a big pizza person myself, so I probably wouldn't be the one to answer this question. But I do not find a lot of differences between the quality of pizza in Coop and Frank, but there are a number of good, like real good pizza places downtown. Actually, the New York pizzeria, what we call Slices, is one of the top 10 pizza places in entire New York State. At least
It's
that is.
true.
And
Really?
a lot of the times, like you see a huge line of people outside of Slices just to get a slice of pizza. And a good thing is that like there are a number of events that provide you with free tokens to Slices. Like they are like this $1 token, and you can just go to Slices anytime and exchange that for a slice. So yeah, there are like a pretty good pizza places downtown and quite affordable as well.
I can answer this if you guys would prefer, but there is a question in particular about the halal options at Colgate. Do either of you feel comfortable answering that, or do you want me to take that one?
I do not know.
I do know to some degree that like they try to have halal food in Frank in the gluten-free and gluten-free station.
Yeah.
So they do have halal food in that station, but I do think it's not very it does not provide like a lot of options. But yeah, my knowledge might not be the most sufficient.
I know that for the most part, students, if they have particular restrictions and if they're halal, they will usually, they're the two stations at Frank that they typically, that are their primary spot where they will get a lot of food. And I do know also that any student, when they're coming to Colgate, if they want, they can actually contact one of our Colgate nutritionists and determine where all options are available for them on campus. And actually if you can believe it, so at Colgate, every student can download this Colgate app, and it tells students when the cruiser is coming, the buses at Colgate are coming, when different hours of buildings are open. And another thing that they actually do is at Frank, they actually show, I don't know if they do this for all of I'll actually check, but I know for at least definitely for Frank, they will showcase what is on the menu each day and what are the ingredients in it. And so even if something is not officially declared as vegetarian or declared as halal, students can also go and see for themselves and use the menu to determine, even if it's not officially labeled, that it actually is something that they are able to eat. It's a good question. There's another final question about Frank and Coop, and then you've talked about downtown, and so I will then pivot to talking about food downtown. And this is something also I can answer if you haven't had this experience, but if you think some food is making you feel unwell, how does Colgate go about that issue? Have either of you had that experience, or would you like me to take that?
Like unwell, like not good?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, a lot of time when Frank tried to make like other cultures' food, it doesn't really turn out quite well. But we kind of just joke it off and like find something else to eat.
Okay. Because yes, I do know that because students have access to these nutritionists at Colgate, that is how, if they do think that something did make them unwell, they work with the nutritionist. And even if they want to come up with their own dietary plan, they do that as well. And Frank also and Coop also do take individual feedback. And so you can also, contact them directly. You say that, no, have you ever given actual feedback? You have?
Well, because one time they have bao buns. Like, I don't know if the past remember, but they have those white buns, and you can have like barbecue pork, like chicken or tofu, and you can have a lot of vegetables, and it was so good. Like I will literally go there every night to get it. Then like on the menu, they said they will bring it back every month, but they did not. That was like the only time. So my roommate and I were so upset. We wrote to them like, we wrote a review. I don't know where I submitted, but we said like, can you please bring back the buns? But no one ever get back to us, and we never see it again. So
Oh, that's a bummer. That's something I'll make a point to reach out to.
yes,
I'll make a point to reach out to Frank because they've responded to me, so I will make a point to reach out. Okay.
don't make Frank make it. Frank made it once, but it's not as good as Coop.
Okay, Coop. Got it. Now, okay, so thinking about we've talked quite a bit about the actual options on campus for food. Dipesh, you've talked about downtown. Where are some other places that Colgate students should know about when they're coming that have good food downtown? How would you even describe the downtown? How many restaurants are there?
Well, one thing like I have not counted. There's the Hamilton Inn, actually the Hamilton Eatery. There's the Royal India Grill. There is the Friends and Pho, which is a Vietnamese place. There is the Rye Berry, which is a bakery, and it has breakfast food and good American food, real good. And there is the Flour and Salt. They have bagels and bagel-based sandwiches, which are really good, and it has like a really high value because the price is not very high, and then the food is really amazing. There is the Ross's Bar and Grill, where you can get typical American food. And next to it, you have the Olivieri's Pizza. So you can get pizzas, wings, and things of that nature. And opposite to Olivieri's, you have the New York Pizzeria that I talked about, where you can get really good pizzas. We also have a Chinese place downtown, although like not a lot of
It's okay.
students like it. Yeah, it's called the Main Moon. Yeah, we also have the Colgate Inn, which has some really good menu, and a little bit out of downtown area. We have I don't know the name of the place. Like it's close to the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Seven Oaks. Yeah.
The Seven Oaks, yes.
Yeah.
Seven Oaks, yeah. And
Chicken
Parmesan. Everybody talks about that because it's delicious. The chicken Parmesan. And they also have like a number of other sandwiches and I think salad, which is really good. You should try it.
Young, out of all those places that Dipesh has mentioned, where's the best place to eat? Or I guess where are your top two places to eat downtown?
Friends and Pho for sure, and I gotta say Rig. I have to choose in between Rig and Ryberry.
Okay.
But
Why?
I'll go with Rig. Friends and Pho is just more of a cuisine that's like soup noodles. Like it really warm you up in the winter, and they have really different flavor. And I'm not Vietnamese, but I really like it. Like I have friends, like they I don't know. I feel like it's authentic, but I'm also not in the place to say. But I really like their soup noodles, and Rig is just always good, like curry and nuns. We always like no matter what events on campus have like cater from Rig, like it's free, so we'll just go listen and get the Rig.
Well, that's a good thing to bring up. I've known people who, even as they get older, so students don't have to have an unlimited meal plan. They do in their first year, but then in their second, third, and fourth year, they can opt depending on how much they want to do their own cooking or how much they're at the top of the hill, etc. But I've known students, yes?
I think you can't opt out of the Premier Gold Meal Plan in the second year.
You can't?
No, you can't.
It's not. Oh, that's been probably new this year. Okay. So, all right. So knowing that, then, and I'm glad that you clarified that. So knowing all of this, I've known juniors and seniors who have deliberately taken a look and seen what programs are offered at Colgate each week and have taken advantage of those free food options. And of course, then going to those programs too. Both of you are nodding your head like you know these people too. So can you elaborate a little bit more on just the different events, the different things that have, and then the food from downtown that is catered?
Okay, as I'm a junior and this is my bread and butter, I think I should be answered.
All right, go ahead.
So like you mentioned, like we have the Colgate app and it kind of describes like all the programs that are scheduled for the day. And any time of the day you feel hungry, you check out the calendar and you get yourself registered for the program and just show up. And I think like this is something that has changed this year because like they're trying to make sure that there's not contagion through food and events like that. So we have not had food this year, but on a regular semester, every single event, there's always food, and food from like a really good place downtown or even out of town. And the food is one thing like amazing, and the food is consistent. Like it's not, there's not a day that goes by without getting free food. Like anytime.
All right, so give examples of what are some of the programs that you would regularly go to for the free food.
One thing is that like they have like this Catholic mass, and they have like this meetings of religious groups in chapel basement. There they have food. They have a Royal India Grill for Hindu Student Association and Muslim Student Association. Quite often they also have like food from the eatery. The other events would be like Korean Cultural Club. I don't know if the name is right, but there's a Korean
Cultural Association.
Yes, yeah. They have like a lot of Korean food quite often. There is the Chinese Students Club, I think, and they have like Mid-Autumn Festival or something like that. And then to like
It's a table full of food.
They not only bring the food from the downtown area, they also try to get authentic food from Syracuse, from town, and it's delicious. Last year, Mid-Autumn Festival was amazing. The food was so good. Apart from that, like even in like regular talks that professors have in women's studies department, they have like talks every Wednesday. They have the food over there. They have like they have like cooking in cultural clubs. In South Asian cultural club, like we have family dinners, and there are the family dinners as well. Like I think every single club has food. In fact, like I'm in the so on a regular semester we had like a special division for people granting budget for food. Like they were like the food budget makers or something like that. They were like a different position for validating a budget for food.
And I appreciate you even sharing that it's not just food from the local downtown, that there actually is budget set aside to bring food from Syracuse and other areas as well too. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Have either of you actually though been, well actually, I actually think I know the answer to this already, at least. I know, Young, you've been using the OISS kitchen since you first came to Colgate. Can you even talk a little bit about what the OISS kitchen is for any student that is actually looking to cook food for themselves or cook foods for their friends?
Yeah, so OISS Kitchen is sponsored by Office of International Students, and it's located in 113 Broad Street. It is really big. It has a really like giant countertop, like island in the middle. So you have a lot of room to prep and stuff. And they have 2 sets of stove, ovens, microwaves, 2 fridges. So I don't think you can store things there during regular semester, but during quarantine we did anyway, because my boyfriend and I were the only 2 people who are really using the kitchen at that time. And during regular semester, it will be open Tuesday, Thursday night from like 5:30 to 8:30. Friday, Saturday, I think from 6 to 9. So you can cook within this hour. There will be like someone supervising the kitchen, and they have all the cutlery, all the plates, all the pots and pans. You just need to get your own grocery, and they have like basic condiments. So there's like salt and pepper, like flour, oil, other spices. So like you just need to get your grocery. And we really like cooking there because there's a lot of space to prep your food, and like you can have a lot of friends coming in to enjoy the food too.
So what have you made?
We made Coca-Cola chicken wings. We made a lot of other chickens, like sweet and sour ribs. It's mostly like Chinese cuisine, and we have made like pork chops, like eggplants, like lettuce, like the cooked lettuce, and uh, I don't remember. We made boba tea. We made dumplings. Yeah.
That's a pretty wide range of food. Were you mostly, I mean, who is the largest, how large is the biggest group that you've cooked for?
Um, I wouldn't say I'm the only one cooking, but for
Oh, definitely.
Oasis and collaborating with Shell Wellness. So one time we had the opportunity to make dumplings. So there's about, I say like 15 to 20 people showed up. So we made like hundreds of dumplings. Like I don't think I was officially in the club yet, but I was asked to help with making the dumplings. So I was literally there kneading the dough, like rolling everything, like from like 3 to 7.
Can I add on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like Oasis Kitchen is like one of the designated kitchen that international students can use, but there are a lot of other options and places where you can cook on the campus. In most of the dorms, in my hall, in Drake Hall, in the 2 new buildings, they have a kitchen that students can use within certain time interval. It usually used to be actually like it differs for every dorm, but you do have a kitchen where you can cook. And another place that I think a lot of students make use of is the kitchen at Chapel Basement. It also like it has condiments and a lot of pots and pans and everything. You just need to get your grocery. In case of the kitchen basement, they do also have like some free ingredients that everybody can use, which is quite nice to have. And one thing that I want to add on that is I think, and I think this is true, that you can get coffee, tea, almost any place in Colgate. Like you just don't need to go back to the dining hall to get tea and coffee. You go to the Chapel basement, there's free tea and coffee. You go to any department in Swan Lounge or you go to the Math Lounge, there's free tea and coffee everywhere.
It's funny, I haven't done that in a while. I'm so glad that you brought that up, that yes, there's literally free tea and coffee from every department because they want students to be coming in and hanging out and saying hi.
Yeah. And Jan mentioned like simmet dumplings. I think I can remember like we had this international food event like where you just basically ask students to like make food, and OIS bought the ingredients and we just made the food based on our culture if you wanted to do that, and we just showcased it to other people, and there were like 60, 70 people, maybe more than that, who came to eat the food. And we have those events. It used to be like a regular event every semester. I don't know if this has changed. Probably it has this year, but we do have events like that where students get to cook in bulk for other people and also try to eat food cooked by other students from different cultures.
So true. Now, where do you both typically eat on Friday nights? I know this semester is different, but where did you eat on Friday nights this time last year?
I don't think I really have a place to go. Like sometimes like Nick and I will go to Friends and Fall for like fall and Friday night or Saturday night, but it's mostly during weekends. Sometimes we'll just stay on campus and eat it from like Donovan's or Frank or Coop.
My go-to option was Donovan's because it was Friday night and I was hanging out with my friends and we're playing pool or we're just having like grand old conversation or something like that. Other options would be that we would go someplace downtown. The go-to place probably would be Royal India Grill, but we try to try out different options. I do say I think like there are more breakfast and lunch options downtown than the dinner options. I think not many places open after 7, which is quite different. Actually, like I was used to having food at 8 o'clock in the evening back home. And that was certainly different when I came to the United States because everybody seemed to have had breakfast by 6 o'clock. I mean, dinner by 6 o'clock. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, it's true.
I'm surprised neither of you thought we're going often to the International Student Dinner, but I know that sometimes that's a, oh, what? Like, Nat, what? Like, I've
It
just
has been
reminded
so
you?
long.
It's
Yeah.
been that long? Okay.
It has been
Because
so
Oh my
actually,
God.
guys, I've been to that. That's a one, it's just such a great, it's such a great Friday night dinner. All right, go ahead.
I
One of you take that. One of you talk about what the Friday night dinner is.
I actually was talking to Jody, who organizes this dinners for all international students every Friday of a way that we can come up with so that we can still have these dinners even during this time, this unprecedented time. So there's the First Baptist Church, very close by to downtown area. So it's like a 5 to 7 minute walk from up the hill from your dormitory. And they have dinners. They organize dinners for international students every Friday. It's around 5 o'clock, and they have food that suits most of international students' tastes. They have rice, they have lentils, they have chickpeas, curries, salads, and I think what I love most is the eclairs and the desserts, which is really good. And I think I think what I prefer more than the food is the conversation. You have like a large table, like a large dining table. You sit around and you have conversation about the weekend, conversation about like the things you did or you're looking forward to over the weekend with your friends. And it is amazing. Yeah, and I would definitely ask any international student who comes to Colgate to please try to go to that dinner, because if you're not, you're missing out.
And adding on to that, you don't have to be religious. Like, it's hosted by the First Baptist Church, but you don't have to be religious. And then they don't really say anything besides like a little prayer before the dinner. But the dessert section is great. It's amazing. There's so much varieties. I love the cream puffs. Like, Jody and her husband knows me of just eating those cream puffs.
Yeah,
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
Jody is so amazing. Like her personality, how much optimism and positivity she has every time you meet her is off the roof. Like, you might be having the worst of days, and when you meet with her, when you have conversation with her for like 5 minutes, it makes you feel happy. She makes you feel that you can do it. She makes you feel hopeful. And one thing that to add on all the dinner is that you have a raffle every at the end of every dinner. So you have the chance of winning a gift card to one of the places downtown, which I did on my first time going to the dinner, because I cheated. But that doesn't matter.
I was like, I never won anything.
How did you cheat? Are you even going to disclose that to everyone, or no? You're not even going to share how you. You know what? I don't want to know. Don't give other people ideas. No, I'm not. Don't answer that. Can't believe that. There's another question that feels a little. It feels relevant. It's not quite food oriented, but just thinking about the Hamilton community in itself. A question is that as an international student, do you feel like you were able to find a sense of community or fit in at Colgate?
Of course.
Yeah, they're like, you don't, I mean, like, Colgate's kind of isolated, but you don't feel isolated here. You're like connected to so many different people in different ways. Like, there's a really strong Colgate international community on campus, and like off campus talk about the church dinner. Those are local residents, and they will like show up on your game. They will like show up on your events, and like even with the shop owner, if you go there often enough, you make small conversation with them.
To me, I think I probably think, like, because I haven't been home in 2 years and I have stayed in Hamilton almost all the time, it feels like home to me because of the people that I have known. Like, the people downtown in restaurants, they know me personally, so it feels close with them. The people on campus, the faculty, the staff, I see them on a regular basis. And I think the culture is very different than where I come from, because we don't generally say hi and have conversation regularly, but out here, like you say hi, you have conversation, even though like you might be saying like, how did your weekend go? Or how did your week go? And for that reason, like, even though you might not know a lot about other people, you tend to care. You tend to see if they're having a good day in their faces. And you kind of have this unspoken relationship, like that you don't talk about, but you know that you're connected to other people. And yes, you have a sense of camaraderie and brotherhood and sense of belonging to this place. And I think like it has been very strong in my case.
I really liked how you said that. When knowing that you've been here at Colgate for 2 years, what advice do you have for students just as they're planning to arrive? And I mean, this doesn't necessarily need to be food oriented, but is there any particular advice that you'd have to students as they're preparing to come to campus?
I think I would say yes. One thing I would say is not to be afraid of anything. Like something I think I was a little bit, that it's going to be a different culture. It's going to be so different than I'm used to. So I think I was a bit afraid, and I think I was, I had like fear talking to people. I had fears of reaching out.
Really?
Early on, yeah, I felt like I would be judged. I felt like people would see me differently. But I think like what I would say as a suggestion to any first year who comes to Colgate is, one thing is to be comfortable in your own shoes. That is very important. And know that like whatever personality you have or wherever you come from, you have a place in Colgate. That there are people who value who you are. There are people who like who you are. And even though like Colgate seems like a small campus, there are like 2,800 of us. So out of the 2,800, there are going to be like at least 10 or 20 people like who really appreciate who you are. So you don't need to like try to be different. If you want to do that, that's great. But if you just want to stay who you are and try to just focus on your strength and not just see your weaknesses, that is also great. Be comfortable in your own shoes and know that like you deserve to come to this place, and you should make the most of it, and don't feel like you belong less than anybody else.
I love how you phrase that too. Jan, there is another food question that has come in that I think is, well, both of you could answer, but I haven't been asking you. I just asked Depeche like 3 questions in a row, so I'll throw this back to you. Jan, are there fresh farm produce events, fairs at Colgate, like a whole day or so dedicated to them?
Yeah, so we do have a farmers market in town every Saturday morning from, I believe, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So there's all the local farms like selling like produce, fruits, vegetables. There's meat. There's also stands for like bakeries. So Ryberry will be there, and there's other local bakeries. And there's also flowers. That's not really related to food, but you can buy like a bouquet for like $8, and it lasts for a week. It's really nice, and you got the jar too. And they're like, this is every Saturday. I believe it. I don't know when it started. During the summer, sometimes around like June, July, and it probably lasted to the end of October.
And usually it starts earlier than that, but because of COVID, I don't think was deemed safe until June. Usually it starts in May, I believe.
Okay. I know it starts somewhere around summer. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, please. One more thing is that like they do have the farmers market every Saturday, but if you still want to get the produce, then you can. A lot of the vendors who come to the farmers market, they also have their produce in Paris. So it's like a store close by to downtown area. You can go there and get the produce. The other thing is like if you're into getting like fresh groceries, like food, like fresh groceries, vegetables, then Common Thread is like one of the vendors in the farmers market, and they do have subscriptions. So you have to pay like a certain amount of money, and they'll deliver like fresh produce, groceries to you on a regular basis.
That's
I didn't
good
know
advice
that.
too. Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. This program was intended to be 45 minutes long, so we've already taken some additional time from you already. But Yang, any final thoughts? Depeche just gave some really great advice. Do you have any other final advice, food related, not food related? You're a great cook too, so it's up to you whether you or not you want it to be about food.
I guess I'll go with non-food. Like
Okay.
adding on to what Depeche just said, like coming here, don't be afraid. Use all the resources you can. OIS is here to support you. There's Corey, and there's like counseling. There's like chaplains. So like talk to people. And I say if you're going through like a cultural shock, or if you're having a hard time to adjust to the culture or to like the weather, always like reach out. Like don't take it on your own. Like don't take everything on your own and trying to solve it. Like reach out to people, like talk to them, and yeah, just don't keep everything to yourself. I mean, if that's what you do, it's fine. I think it's more helpful in a sense for your own mental health, and like just to be able to talk to people, like just to talk through what you're going through.
You guys have such good advice. Thank you all for coming. Any questions that you have, let us know. Thank you for joining us. Yang and Depeche, good luck with your classes today. I think I don't know which one. I think one of you has classes in 2 minutes, so I'll let you guys go. But thank you again, and have a great day.